Now, the rest of the story.
We got the staff here working on the combine. We just got done putting the tailings elevator chain in, which really wasn't that terrible because I watched Ryan do it. And we are working on the clean grain elevator chain, which is this guy right here. This one is the one that truly needed it. The tailings elevator was right there, so they're both brand new. Same thing with a bunch of the belts we changed. We did a bunch on the other side. I'm gonna look at that quick while Ryan's fighting that. We're going the easy route of loosening the belts up, and we're able to connect the new chain to the old chain. And what that does, we need to change these out for LEDs. It allows us to run that chain around by hand, and really simple. We already went through new roller chain for the unloading mechanism, new belts, and this side is pretty well covered. We went through, changed the roller chain on the right side of the feeder house. The belt, actually was what Dad and Ryan were working on, was changing this belt, which was, yeah, you guys can see that, which wasn't too bad because I didn't have to do it again. But the problem is with some of these belts that are on the inside of, you know, these whole systems, is that you have to take off everything else that's in the way. And by doing so, the belts on this one didn't look bad visually looking at them when we were looking at them yesterday to figure out what we needed to do. But as we pulled it out, there was just one subtle but deep crack where one of these belts was split. And if we're going to replace one, it's a set. We're going to replace them both. So that'll be good. I got to grease it. I got to go shut those lights off. Clean the battery terminals. Oils and everything are done. The filters, I mean. And I got to go through and put the harvest monitor in it. But we're probably the 1st of October before we're going to get too excited about anything. Which is fine, because we got plenty of other things we would rather be working on than worrying about harvest just yet. A bunch of other equipment that we got to go through and get looked over. Still looking for chains for this roller mill. I need just a couple links for the conveyor on that, and you think I could find some? So I'm just, well, I can find some really quick, but it's expensive because the solution is I'm supposed to put a whole new chain on it, and I'm not doing that. So the roller mill, what are your intentions with the roller mill, Ryan? You were the one that kind of instigated it as far as getting it back out. Still want to use it, or not as seriously as initially?
I'd like to get the cabs on it, but
the
problem is corn being rolled beats hammered corn.
Yeah.
But that's extremely slow, so.
One of those things where you do it more in the winter? Yeah. Well, what are you mixing up for your creep? You're mixing your own creep up, right?
Yeah, just 50-50 corn and oats.
Okay. Concentrate?
No concentrate for the creep feed yet.
Okay. For me, I'm just buying it, but that's my intentions, is hopefully next year I'll be mixing my own creep feed, because it's cheaper to buy the concentrate and use your own corn. I'm going to try to acquire some oats, which I was either going to try to buy a gravity wagon, like a smaller one, and put oats in it like my brother does out of his place, or there was a bulk bin which there's always seems like there's bulk bins available. Blinding you. I'd like to get another bigger bulk bin and then buy oats like in the summer when everybody's harvesting, or oats are a little bit easier to come across. So are you ready to start putting that on?
Yep.
All right. Well, Ryan's gone, and we replaced him with Rowlena, and turns out Grandma came home and I got outranked by Grandma. But we are in the big stuff is done on the combine, just in regards to the chains and whatnot. We have 2 belts to put back on the other side. The old ones are taken off. The new ones just really have to be brought in. They have to ship them in. Other than really check the air in the tires and grease it, I did go through, while Relina was here helping me, I got the monitor in the cab. I got to put tripping over my own words. I gotta go through and put the globe on and then check oil levels and some of the gear cases. But other than that, the combine it's sitting comfortable. As weird as it sounds, I actually feel better that we have a few things to replace on it, or to swap out with different things, because like last year, I did go through it, I looked it over, but other than really greasing it and doing, just your regular maintenance, I didn't really do a whole lot, which kind of makes me anxious, because, I'm so used to having to do a little bit more than just making sure everything's greased. The 9510, I guess, I've just gotten used to it. We do have to do a little bit in the grain tank with the auger, but I don't think that'll take much. So overall, I'll probably get this moved back out of the way. I want to go through, I gotta do about 3 hours worth of grinding with this, and I can get that cleaned up, greased up, and then we won't need the mower until corn fodder. 76 needs a bath and needs to be cleaned up. The 79, Dad cleaned up the other day, but it's just sitting in the shed. It's going to collect dust, but it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. We don't have a whole lot to make for hay. A little bit of alfalfa, and as dull as it's probably going to be, but making the valley again is going to happen. Talked to my buddy, and he said the same thing. He made a bunch of grass hay. Well, farther back than when I made the valley the first time, and he said the same thing. It's just, we switched over from being too wet to too dry, and rain's been rather sparse, which is common for this area, and the grass just isn't growing. Now down on the bottom, there's plenty of moisture there. It is greening up. It's about yay tall. I'm hoping if I give it another 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm just going to take what I can get from it, and we'll go through and wrap it up. It'll probably only be a 1 baler job, maybe not. If not, we're done with the 566 for the year, because the 569 is the go-to baler as far as I'm concerned. We got to go through, I thought I'd do something with the 82, or maybe I don't. I thought there was something I wanted to do with the 82. Oh, I'm thinking of the baler while it's sitting on the 82. I mentioned a while back, whether or not I even posted it at this point, but I'm going to get away from using the PTO adapter for $500 to have it swapped out and exchanged or changed out to something a lot more reliable. I'm going to switch this over to the large 1000 PTO, and then we can get rid of that adapter. Still going to be able to use it. It's just that it's on this, using it on this tractor with this baler, it's too hard on it. The biggest thing that's going to hurt me is it's going to extend out this power takeoff shield to the point where I may have to put a new shield on it. But I guess I did that to myself, because I trimmed this back so it wasn't pulling on this marred part where it's all, looks to me like the previous owner had a 3-point hitch or a quick hitch, like yay, and it looks to me like they dropped it down on it with PTO running, because that's for right where that happens to be on a machine that, a smaller machine. If I actually dropped that down, I wouldn't be too far off from hitting. So, well, it's whatever, but annoying. It's a little bit more annoying having to be wary of those set screws coming out on the adapter. On the, if it ends up on the grain cart going forward, it is small thousands. I'm making sure Relina isn't running around looking for me. She took my phone, so she managed to get my phone, then she bolted for the house. Not in that order. She actually got my phone and sat and helped me, handed me tools and everything when I was putting the monitor in. It just, you know, for being as common as we do this. So it's a small 1,000 in the red cart, but the red cart will end up on the 4640 again. Not really because of Dale. When Dale really started to help us, and I know you're watching, dude. Dale's used to comfortable running the 4640 when he first started, you know, helping us again here lately. And that isn't really the only reason why we put the 46 on the green cart. It's just that with the 7920 available now and everything, we can put the 46 on the grain cart and it can stay there until we're done with harvest. The 7920 or the 7600 can end up on that green cart, preferably the 7920, because at that point in time, it's when we are dumping into the truck and just shipping it. That frees up the 7600 for grinding up corn stalks, for hauling with the grain wagon if I need to haul some grain back to the bin. The 7920 will be doing that when we're filling the large 20s, but I'm gonna haul, you know, some back for myself and whatnot. And with the 82 is the baler tractor, which seems like a lot, but I'm not to the point of really caring anymore. It fits it nice, and once we get done making fodder, we'll drop that off, and the 82 will end up on the chisel plow or the VT, more than likely the chisel plow. And I want to try to keep at everything and try to progress our fall work as much as possible when we can. We're going to be harvesting a bunch in November. That's just normal for us anymore. Largely just, I'd rather make sure that everything's good and dry. Ryan and I were discussing planting a shorter day hybrids. The reason we plant the hybrids that we plant are because we're aiming for, oh, that's full yet. I'm so wasteful. We're planting longer hybrids to give them as much time as they can to yield. And it's worked for us. And you get years like last year where you don't get the rain, and then the crops are stunted. And not very often that you can count on getting a bunch of rain and the last little bit of your growing season, and it resulted in everything trying to grow, but it also made everything super wet, where we were dealing with a lot of wet corn the 1st of November. Where ideally it probably would have been harvesting everything in November last year. For the moisture level it was probably the equivalent of harvesting it on October 1st on a regular year. You have good years, you have not so great years. Now I gotta make sure I keep my wrenches to myself, because I left that green portable toolbox is still in the shed yet. And it's nice because I got full sets of, you know, wrenches and different tools and whatnot. And it's really nice being able just to go to a pre-sorted set and just boom, 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 done. So helped us quite a bit working on the combine. The roller mill, yes, I'm planning on trying to get that fixed. Gonna try to use it here going forward, and if it needs much more work after we actually are able to use it and see how much we like rolling corn, it is slower like Ryan says, but depending on, you know, our situation at any given time when we're doing it, it's probably still going to be the preferred way to go. You know, say aiming to have more cattle even going forward. We're keeping heifers back. Going to be preg checking this fall for myself. Ryan's going to be preg checking too. And if I can make it work, I actually want to run a bunch of my parents' cattle through. Like all of my parents' cattle through the chute. And everybody's going to get re-tagged because I got a few that have managed to lose their tags now. And it's kind of annoying when I got a troublemaker or two, it's two, that I don't know what their numbers are. I don't know, I can't identify them. And it'd be really nice to know which one needs to go work at McDonald's. You believe me, for how much grief she's been giving me, I think that's what she really needs to do, is just go find a new job, because she clearly doesn't like her current one of converting grass into manure. But what else do I want to say? Not a whole lot for the rest of this video. I'm gonna hopefully, if I can get a better internet connection, I can upload my videos quicker. Gives me a little bit more incentive. Goofy looking grain bucket. I actually really love these. The reason I do is because that's the feed, just oats and corn. It's actually primarily just oats and protein. The corn is just a little bit that was left in the bottom of the bin when I mixed up the oats. But these buckets, these lids, you know, they don't turn it very tight, but just enough, you know, where it's snug. I got 2 or 3 of them yet. Really nice for throwing 5-gallon pails in the back of the truck. So when cause I got like cows down at my place and I got cattle out on pastures, and it's nice just to have a bucket you can throw to them periodically to give them that false sense of security that you can catch them and haul them home. Because that'll be coming here sooner than you'd think. I mean, they've been liking being out on grass, but I'm also in the same category of I'm sitting better on feed than I was last year, and the cows that are at the home farm are getting spoiled a little bit more than even the ones that are out on grass, because they are getting a steady dose of that mix, just kind of keep them mellow, which they already are. I mean, they're almost too mellow.